Hey guys, coldbrew here. Welcome back to another raid video. Brand new fusion coming in for the game. Look at her right there. We're going to be looking at the fusion, the new skills in this video. Going to talking over on how this is going to affect the gameplay. This fusion is going to be starting on June the 6th. Obviously going to go for about 2 weeks, a little bit over than 2 weeks. The events and tournaments, we don't know yet, but what you should be expecting is the minimum to complete all of them, okay? It's not simple as that. Sometimes we get a little bit of leeway in terms of completing these types of fusions. We will be able probably to maybe avoid summoning on both of the summoning event and tournament most of the times. But what you want to be making certain is that you are saving up your resources as much as possible. Artifact enhancement events are a pain. Champion trainings are usually a must do because they're relatively easy to complete. They do take time, and dungeon divers is all about double dipping on your points. So these are very small tips I can just give you in under a minute that I have just done in order to complete fusions. Let's get on with this champion skills. Let's have a look. I haven't seen anything about her yet, but let's get started. So you will be a legendary defense, high elves champion called the Incarnate. Loving the name, the Incarnate, loving the name, loving the look. By the way, also this mask that she has on top. Well, it's basically a crown, but this is her face. I don't know. Looks very cool, especially being a force champion with all the red on her shield, her gear, and the sword as well. So let's have a look at the skills. So attack intruder attacks enemy 2 times each hit, 30% chance to place a provoke. Has a 10% chance of counterattacking when an ally Arbiter is hit, occurs once per hit. So she's like a guard for Arbiter, like a paired kind of combo with Arbiter. Love it, love it. When an ally Arbiter is hit. So if they hit Arbiter, you're going to go in ahead and provoke, I guess. Well, chance to provoke, it's going to be 50% when booked. Not the highest, but it's a double hitting attack, so better than nothing. So Phalanx attacks all enemies, 75% chance of removing all shield buffs and 1 random buff from all enemies, then places a shield buff on all allies for 2 turns. The value of the shield is proportional to this champion's defense. Again, with a big shield coming in based on defense. So defensive champion, you build them tanky, giving you a big shield. I like this. It's a good combination of the skill set plus protection for your team. Removing the shield will require accuracy, so that is one thing that you need to consider. Obviously, with bolster sets available for arenas, you won't be able to remove those, so have that in mind. If you see the shield not being removed, it's not because she's broken, it's how it is with protection on the buffs, okay, from the bolster set. So after that, the defensive measures places a 50% ally protection for 2 turns and a strengthen. Very strong skills, very basic. It's a non-attack kind of skill. It's straight up support. So I don't expect her to be built as a damage dealer, even though she's got an AoE attack. What I do expect though is for her to do at least a little bit of damage, even on defensive mode right there. That's what we're used to anyway from these defensive champions. And then if I move my big head out of the way, we can maybe see the remaining of the skills. Let me just do that right now. Oh, there we go. Coldbrew out of the way. So crisis response passive increases the champion's accuracy by 20 for each ally under an ally protection buff. Okay, so you're gonna give them 5 allies in the Hydra, so you get 100 accuracy. That's nice, I guess. When killed, resets the cooldown of the Destiny's Call skill for any allies Arbiter. So Destiny Call. What is Destiny Call? Let me just have a quick look at Arbiter. What is that? Is that the revive? Ooh. Is that the revive? Destiny's Call. So you reset the revive on Arbiter when those 2 champions are together. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Let's continue. So you basically reset Arbiter's revive on this, and even with the 4-turn cooldown, I'm pretty cool with this because with ally protection, it's not likely that they're gonna be dying that often, but allowing Arbiter to basically get an up again chance for the revive allows for teams to basically go Arbiter plus this one Incarnate plus other champions and do good damage on the Hydra, because you're gonna have the ability to just go heavy on the damage dealers and then have the protection from this champion, the Incarnate, plus Arbiter's revives. So you get increased attack from Arbiter for your damage dealers. You get the Incarnate as a protector, plus removing shields There's not many shields on when fighting the Hydra, but still, it's okay. So increases the champion's resistance by 20 for each ally under an ally protection buff. Okay. This champion will also receive 20% of the damage of any ally arbiters if there are multiple champions on the team. All right, activate once. Okay. If any ally arbiter is about to get killed by a fatal hit, places an unkillable buff on her for 1 turn. If there are multiple champions on the team, this effect will only activate once. Love it. So she is the absolute protector of Arbiter and works very well with her. I love this. I love this champion. I don't think that her kit is out of the ordinary in terms of being a legendary. She looks very cool. Her skill set looks very solid. You get a provoke for the Head of Decay. You get the ability to apply multiple buffs to your team to protect them. As a champion that will be the Head of Mischief as a tank for that, the extra resistance helps, but the problem will be your buffs. When you apply an ally protection, you give buffs to other allies, but not yourself. So your other allies get a +1 buff more than what you have. So the problem will be, how do you, with the Incarnate champion, have more buffs than your allies? The way that you can go around that, guys, is to build your other champions with, let's say, the Relentless set, which gives them extra turns. Those extra turns reduce the number of buffs, well, the duration of your buffs. So that helps a little bit, but of course also reduces the support that they get. Let's say they lose the strengthened buff, they lose that additional support. The way that you can avoid that is having shields on her, having her slower than your other champion, so they go first before her. Obviously everybody needs to be faster than the Head of Mischief, but with Arbiter in the team, that shouldn't be that difficult. Other things would be, let's say, having a blessing on her that allows her to have basically an extra buff. One of the blessings does that. And then you can also do things such as the Blood Shield ring, or any other of the accessories of the Blood Shield set. So when she attacks, she gains an extra shield on herself. Even small, it still counts as a buff. So of course that shield cannot override the shield from here. So that is cool. But again, the problem will be just being a Head of Mischief tank. It's basically with the ally protection. Everything else is basically going to be the same. I think it's a very solid addition to the champions that we have at the moment. Obviously, we're going to have a patch with all the other quality of life things coming, plus her. So I do feel like she's a pretty cool champion. It's going to be a mixed fusion event. What they're calling it a mixed fusion means it's going to be fragment collections plus leveling up probably the epics, and then using those epics to fuse together to get the legendary. This way, I think you spend more of your resources, I believe. So you need to fuse the legendary champion from epic champions, while you need to summon the epic champions from fragments. So okay, why did they call it a mixed fusion if it's collecting fragments on the epic champions? Oh, it's a bit confusing. I guess maybe the wording that they've done. Okay, so it's just collecting fragments for epic champions. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. I'm not sure if we're gonna be able to get one of the epics, just straight up get it, as we had for Wixwell. Hopefully that's gonna be the case. Maybe through extreme summoning you'll be able to get that, but until that time comes, we should be able to use you know, our resources and get this fusion. I think she's pretty cool. Again, as I said, the problem is with using her in arena. They give us descriptions basically. Okay, what I'm reading right now, guys, is they give us descriptions of a way to introduce this champion. They say this skill, like the shield removing skill, this skill is particularly useful against the Head of Mischief or heavily shielded enemies in the arena. You cannot remove a protected shield. Obviously they are not really aware of that. Okay, the fact that she has 2 passives, I find that is pretty cool. The low amount of skill books required, so that's 2 here, and then another 5 here, that's 7, and then another 4, that's 11. Relatively low. I think they kind of kept with a cap there in the last 5 fusions in the game, with about 11 to 12 legendary skill books. I think that's where they want to be keeping it for every single one of the champions. I like that the passives don't have a skill book requirement. That helps a little bit. The cooldowns seem extremely long though for this one. So 3 turn cooldown, and then this one 3, only if it's fully booked. So you basically gotta go all out in order to reduce the cooldowns. If you get lucky and only book this one, so with just 2 books, I think she's going to be very useful, even with just the A3 booked. The A2 is not that amazing, although shields are really nice to help protect the team. And with that being it, that is the Incarnate champion, guys. It's going to be coming in soon. As I said, June 6th, the Thursday. They do these on a Thursday. So I do expect us to get access to the test server. Today is Friday, so this weekend. So we're going to probably see this fusion plus other champions that they're going to be adding into the rotation, plus the changes to the gear filters and all that, the presets. We're going to play around with those. And then also probably additional, I don't know if they're going to do more mythicals. I don't know if they're going to do more champions. Obviously, at least 1 epic needed for this fusion, this type of fusion. But for now, this was the video, guys. Thank you all for watching and supporting the channel. I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.